All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is Daily Vlog 2025, number 191. And today, we need to talk about the end. I need a drink. I've been trying to drink. I am slightly less fuzzy than I was, and I'm very, very happy about that. So I I ran my Daggerheart game on Tuesday. It's already up on the channel if you want to watch it. But we had a near TPK. They came up against well in the village of Hamlet, it was a pair of giant ticks. In Daggerheart, it was two acid burrowers. And yeah, we had 4 people of the 5-person team go down at the same time. And one of them decided. So in Daggerheart, if you're not familiar, when you mark your last hit point, you get to make what's called a death move. And you get to choose between one of 3 things. First one, you can go unconscious. It means that your character lives, but until somebody either heals them or you guys take a long rest, they're just out of the game. And you have to roll a single d12, and if you roll your level or lower, you gain a scar, which basically means your maximum hope, which is normally 6, is reduced by 1. And so every time you go unconscious, you can collect another scar, and if you ever get 6 scars, your character's just gone. The second choice you have is you can go out in a blaze of glory. Your character will die, but they get to do one thing. It counts as a critical success, and you get to do something cool. It's actually very similar to a rule in Fabula Ultima, where when you die, either you're just taken out of the scene, or you get to do this blaze of glory thing, and it can be a lot of fun. The third thing that you get to do is you basically get to take a chance. You roll your duality dice, and if your hope die is higher, then you regain consciousness, and you can heal a number of stress and hit points equal to the value of your hope die. If your fear die is higher, you're just dead. No blaze of glory, no nothing. You're just dead. So, without spoiling what happened in the game itself, we did have a conversation after the game was over about the death system and just how much it kind of changes how you view the game. Because the very next night, I ran a D&D game, and that was also pretty rough. They were up against a really, really powerful enemy, and they were outnumbered. Like the team itself had 4 people, and they were up against 14 enemies. So they were massively, massively outnumbered. And so we didn't have anyone making any death saves, but we had a lot of people getting really, really close. But the feeling in Daggerheart versus D&D was very, very different. And I thought it was interesting because it does kind of apply to how you view your tabletop games and the things like that. Something that I mention to people on a fairly regular basis. In Dungeons and Dragons, and I really don't think the edition matters that much in this idea. Eventually, you will get to a point where death is a mild inconvenience. And different editions of D&D have different points where that is. Um, for like original D&D and like first and second edition, you're probably looking at, once you get around to like maybe level 8, or maybe up to like level 12, then you're starting to see, okay, death really isn't that big a deal. And original D&D, it's much closer to like 12 level 13 stuff, because original D&D was rough. Third edition, you start getting access to revive spells, again around like 8, 10. I can't remember if they had a third level revive like they do in 5th edition, but I know once you got to 4th and 5th level, you started getting revive spells and things like that. And so, yes, technically you could die, but if it was just a long rest for your cleric to be able to raise you, it's really not that big a deal. And then 4th edition, by once you got to epic tier, death wasn't even just a minor inconvenience. Every single class, or almost every single class, got a get out of death free card. And really, once you got to maybe about like level 7, level 8, or maybe, depending on the class, when you get to Paragon tier, which started at 11, it was really, really hard to kill 4th edition characters. So it wasn't even so much that death was a minor inconvenience. Death was just hard to happen. And then once you got really high, death was just nearly impossible. For 5th edition, right at 5th level, full casters get access to Revivify. And there's a lot of other ways that you can deal with death. And then from that point on, again, death really isn't that big a deal. However, when we look at Daggerheart or Fabula Ultima, despite the fact that you can effectively give yourself plot armor by going, well, no, I'm always going to go unconscious because I don't want my character to just die, that isn't always going to be the thing that feels right to do. And because of the Blaze of Glory option, there are certain situations where it is absolutely in your best interest to go out in a Blaze of Glory, because it'll massively change how the rest of the game is going. And so Death and Daggerheart, as much as, again, it's technically even harder to kill a Daggerheart character than it is to kill a high-level D&D character, because effectively you have to kill, if they decide to always go unconscious, you have to effectively kill a Daggerheart character 6 times, and they have to, or at least 6 times, and they have to roll low enough to get 6 scars. So theoretically, death should be even more rare a thing in Daggerheart, but it's not. Again, not spoiling anything for the game if you guys haven't watched it yet. But we had quite a few different people kind of kicking around the idea of, okay, well, what do we want to do? We're in a bad place right now. Like, the party is in a very, very bad place. How do we want to deal with this? And the net result was interesting, to say the least. And yeah, I thought it was really, really fascinating that despite the fact that it's actually easier to stay alive in Daggerheart, because of how they set up the game, I feel like it's actually more difficult to stay alive in Daggerheart. Not because you can't you can't just go, oh well, I'm going to go unconscious so I don't have to die. But because there's actual benefits to both going out in a blaze of glory and risking it all. Because if you just go unconscious, you're not going to be doing anything for the rest of the fight. You don't get hit anymore, but you're also not going to be helping. Which in Daggerheart, because it is because of the spotlight system, it's not like D&D where if you go unconscious or something, your side is actually losing part of the action economy. No, just in Daggerheart, other people can take more turns because you can't take any turns. So it actually doesn't really change the action economy that much. I mean, obviously, there's the loss of your stress and your abilities that you can do, but other people can kind of pick up the slack a little bit. But with Risk It All, you can actually, in addition to getting up and being able to get the spotlight again, you also get to effectively use it as a free heal, free stress reduction. Like, that's really, really powerful, especially in a difficult fight. And then, again, on the other side, that going out in a blaze of glory could massively change how the rest of combat is going to work. Because it's not just... like, the actual wording of the ability is not just, oh, well, you get to make one final attack and it's a super cool final attack. No, it's you get to take one action and it counts as a critical success. So if you wanted to do something to kind of buff the rest of the team and treat it as a critical success, you can do that. If you wanted to heal the rest of the team and treat that as a critical success, you can do that. So it's not exclusively, oh, well, I'm going to end this combat with a super cool explosion, though that is a viable thing that you can do. So yeah, it brings me back to the idea of, like, really good example, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. They created all these different weapons and they wanted you to use them. Well, how do they encourage you to use weapons when Link already has, like, the greatest weapon ever, the Master Sword? And the way that they did that is they introduced this durability system that sucked. Just massively sucked. And basically the justification was, well, if we don't force you to use it, then you're never going to use them. So we're going to force you to use them. And I don't think that that's anywhere near as an effective method of motivation as it is to give people a reason that they want to use it, as opposed to giving them forcing them to use it out of necessity. And I think that's kind of what Daggerheart does, is they don't force you to interact with the kind of death system outside of, oh, I'm just going to go unconscious. They give you actual benefits to doing more than just, oh, I'm going unconscious. Whereas in D&D, there's really no benefit to falling unconscious. You just hope that you wake up before you fail your death saves. Like, again, D&D and most tabletop RPGs, death is something that is forced upon you, whereas in Daggerheart, death is something that you can choose. And there are actual incentives to choose it for your character. So yeah, over and over and over again, I keep getting impressed with this game. Like, the more I look into the kind of the minutia of how the game runs and the various systems and how they interact with each other, the more I realize that that this isn't just like a really cool game that's fun. This is a really well-designed game. And the fact that they only play tested it for less than a year, and the amount of changes that happened between the first playtest and the full release were not massive, which means that before they got into public playtesting, they already had most of the rules designed really, really well. And that in and of itself, from a game design perspective, is really impressive. Especially starting from scratch and creating your own. Like, I've created, I do game design. I'm a platinum best-selling author on the DM's Guild. And I think the Dragon Knight went through, I think, 6 revisions after I published it, and it technically could use at least one more to update it to 2024. The Blood Knight went through, I think I've only done 1 revision to that, but I could probably do another one if I got a little bit more feedback from it. And those are just 2 classes for a system that I know probably better than most people currently playing it. And I don't say that out of like ego or anything like that. Again, I cut my teeth running in conventions, and I do game design, and I have thousands upon thousands of hours of experience in this. And then I have this YouTube channel where I dissect things and game design and stuff. And I've covered almost every single class and subclass in the original 5.0 version of D&D 5th edition, in addition to doing feats and other stuff like that. I think that I know 5th edition better than most. And it took me 6 revisions to get the current final version of my first class. So anyway, interested to hear from you guys. Have any of you guys kind of interacted with the death system in Daggerheart? And what do you guys think about it? Anyway, it's all for me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.